So I'm going to talk about computer safety this morning, and I'm going to begin with what a person should do when you first get your new computer. So there's some things that you should do with your computer before you venture out and search the internet. First of all, I think it would be wise to set a restore point on your computer. Now that's very easy to do. If you go back to your start menu, you click on start, type in restore. Now you see my choices, the very top one is create a restore point. So click on that, and it will, right down here where it says create, go ahead and click on that, and it will create a restore point. Now, why is that important? If something goes wrong when you're downloading or you did some mistakes on your computer, you can always go back to that restore point and restore your computer to the place where it was before you did all this stuff. Then, the next thing that you should do is create a system repair disk. I can repair, and at the very first choice is create a system repair disk. Now, that will refer you to your DVD drive, and it will create a repair disk. Now, what is that for? You ever have a time when your computer won't boot up? Something happened, so you get these errors and it won't boot. So this is a disk you can insert in your DVD drive, and it will boot from that disk, and then it will give you the option of restoring your computer to a previous restore point. Now, when you get your brand new computer, one of the first options that your screen may show you is create a set of restore disks or setup disks. Now you remember years ago we'd get our new computers, and this is back in the days of XP and Windows 3.1 and so forth. Your computer came with disks. You don't have that anymore. They don't send those out to you with your computer. Instead, what Windows does, they create a partition on your hard drive where your whole system, your Windows operating system, all the stuff that came with your computer is stored in that partition. If you look at your hard drive, you know, say you have a 500 gig hard drive in your computer, and you look at it, oh, I don't have a 500 gig hard drive. It only shows 475 or something like that. That's because it takes that extra space and makes a partition where your Windows operating system is saved. All right, now, suppose you have a complete hard drive failure. You won't be able to use that partition on your hard drive to restore your computer. So when you get your new computer, your computer manufacturer gives you the option of making a set of restore disks. And it will only let you make one set. So that's something you should do. Now Windows 8.1 will tell you to suggest you use a flash drive, and it will suggest that you need probably an 18 or 25 gigs on your flash drive, so it will take a fairly big one. Or you can use discs, DVDs, and I just did it for somebody the other day. It took, I think it took 6 or 7 DVDs to set up the operating system. Well, then you have the hard copy of your Windows program, in case you ever have to replace the hard drive or whatever. What those disks will do is restore your computer back to what it was when you took it out of the box. Now, the next thing you need to do is set up your antivirus software. Now, when you get your new computer, there's probably a trial edition of a Norton or a McAfee, one of those, and it will give you a trial, maybe 3 months, maybe a year, and then they'll ask you to buy it. And Microsoft Security Essentials is a very good one if you have Windows 7. It will not work on Windows 8, however. Then you need to use Windows Defender, and that's also a good one. So those are the choices I would suggest for that. They're free, they're downloads from Microsoft. So when you get your new Windows computer, this is a basic screen of a Windows 7 computer when you get it new. And there's a lot of stuff on your desktop. And we call that bloatware. And Windows 8 does the same thing. There are going to be apps on there that you can just get rid of, uninstall them if you don't. And now, after we have done this stuff, made sure that our security software was on, we're ready to go onto the web. And we use a web browser. Now, if you have a Microsoft operating system, your web browser will be Internet Explorer. And that's unique, that's a Microsoft product. Now, Internet Explorer is okay. I prefer Google Chrome, I should say, and I have that downloaded on my computer. But there are other ones out there. You see here is Opera. Firefox is a good one. Here's Safari, which is unique to the Mac computers, but you can also use it on your PC, and then Google Chrome. Now, those are programs on your computer that get you from your computer to the World Wide Web. It's like putting you out there. Now, when you're out there, you need something to search with. So these are search engines, we call them. Use Google, Bing. Again, if you have a Windows machine, you click on Internet Explorer. It's going to open up to MSN, because MSN is Microsoft's product, and your search engine will be Bing. All around the world, the Google search engine is the most popular. 70% of the people use Google, 12% stick with Bing, and 18% use Yahoo. My computer here is set up to my home page. Now you notice it's very plain. It's got the Google search engine in it. That's where I don't open up my computer on either Internet Explorer or Google. I use both of those because there are times when you have to use Internet Explorer, when you need to download some things directly from Microsoft. They'll say, well, you aren't using our search engine or something, so you have to use Internet Explorer. But I've also found it to be true that sometimes Internet Explorer won't work for certain things. And I set up my home page. Now, does anybody not know how to set up a home page? Everybody does. Well, to do that, I just clicked on Internet Explorer now. And this is maybe something you would like to do. Now, this is the club's computer. Do you see how it's repeated? And it's trying to go to MSN. It isn't. And there it is. Oh, I see something else on here that is something that we want to avoid. You see the toolbars? There's a couple of them up there. And it's trying to open up to MSN. It's having a time doing that. And it uses Bing. Now, you can change that. You see this little gear up here? That's your tools bar. I clicked on that and it brought me down a list of options. And you noticed how long it took to load that web page? That's why my home page looks like this. You click on Internet Explorer or Google and you're immediately to a web page that doesn't have all the ads, the moving screens, and all that stuff on there. Okay, now here's Google. So I would go click on that one. Now I can do Internet options. Before that I couldn't. Now this is in Internet Explorer. And it says, to create home page tabs, type each address on its own line. Well, you notice what the home page is stated at? MSN. Well, I'm going to say use current. There it is. If you don't like that Bing toolbar and it keeps coming up, you can change your settings up at the top. See, we can uncheck Bing bar. Now, you see how clean it looks? I disabled some of those. Now, you can go ahead to your control panel and even uninstall some of that stuff. You see, here's Bing bar. You see it right there? We can go click on it and say uninstall if we would like. Now, you can do the same thing with Google Chrome, which is another search engine. You have to install it, you download it, and then you can set your home page. It will basically work almost the same way as it does with Internet Explorer. Now we're going to talk about how to download safely. We don't do that blindly. Windows is the most popular operating system in the world. 92% of the world's computers operate Windows. Mac has 6%. This is according to last year's statistics. And then Linux and other operating systems comprise about 2%. So what can you do? Well, you can switch operating systems. Mac is not targeted near like Windows is because it's so popular. Most people use Windows. So that's why it's always targeted and we always have problems. Or you can switch to the Linux system if you have a regular PC. You can switch to Linux. That's a free operating system. I know we have some Linux users here in the club. Yeah, Jim uses Linux. And it has a lot of unique things to it, doesn't it, Jim, that Windows does not have. These are the choices. We have the Apple operating system, Windows, Ubuntu, Linux, and there are a few other ones out there as well. Fedora. They're all free operating systems that you can download, except Apple and Windows. They are not free, of course. But you may think, who in the world uses Linux? Well, actually, we've already used it this morning. When you switch on to Google, when you use Facebook or Twitter, their network framing is all Linux. The government of Spain uses Linux. There are many places where it is used and we're just not aware of it. Why do they use Linux? Well, first of all, Linux is an open source product. This particular program, I just made a snap of this web page because I wanted to show you something on here. This is from the web page or the web supplier of free downloads and so forth, Softpedia. And you can find many programs there. When I opened up, and the program that I was looking at is Windows 7 Manager. Why I copied this page is because of this little area right here. Now when you go to that page, this is all flashing. There's a speed test that's going to show up immediately when you get here. And it's going to show your current speed and it's going to be blinking. And then this line is going to be flashing back and forth, your maximum speed potential. It says, fix it now. What's going to happen is you click on that, it's going to download some little thing on your computer that you don't want. So don't get hooked into something like that. It sounds good, it's going to make your PC run faster and all that stuff, but don't do it. Just go directly to the download. Avoid that. Beware of fake play buttons. This is a download screen of some software, and I don't even remember what program this was. But I don't know if you can read the fine print at the bottom of the page. Okay. It says about sweep packs. When you download from File Parade, that's a website where you can download programs, you will be offered additional free software, add-on toolbar, with free motions and animations to your webmail. Get quick access to 400 plus games. Packs will set up your home page and default search engine. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? You don't want that stuff. It's going to load up on your computer, and the next time you go on the web, you're going to see a different toolbar, a different search engine, and you're going to see a bunch of flashing icons and things. You're going to have a mess. You've heard of the program GIMP. GIMP. That's a good photo editing program. Some compare it to Adobe, Photoshop. It's not quite as flashy as Adobe, but it's free. It says, how do you want to install this program? Typical, which they recommend. Don't ever check that box. Always go to custom. Well, because see what is happening. If you click on typical, you will install Better Search to set my home page and default search to Better Search for Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome. and to prevent other software's attempts to change my browser's home page and search images. So always check the custom installation. You can opt out of all that extra stuff by just clicking on Skip All. Now, why does this happen? Because these programs earn their money from advertising and from other companies that will get onto your computer. So they pay like File Parade to have those added. They make money doing that stuff. You can actually choose to skip all again. Now, once you have downloaded it, usually your antivirus software will do a scan of that file after it has downloaded, before you open it up. Otherwise, if you don't know if it's done, you just right-click on it and say scan for viruses. So scan that file first before you open it once it's down to your computer. And it will check to see if it's a safe file or not. And before you download it, it's going to ask you, where do you want this file to go? Now, the default for Windows is in your Documents folder in your libraries. You have mine download to a file right on my desktop. You know, it's there. I don't have to search for my downloads. So watch. You see where it asks me to save every file, or save all files to this folder, and I have down in your desktop. And that's where it will go. And you can browse, you can put it in a different place if you want to. And then the next time you download something, it remembers where you downloaded it the first time. It will automatically go to your desktop the next time as well. When you turn on your computer and your first screen, that's your desktop. It'll be a folder on your, and you'll see it right there when you go back to your desktop. It will have a little box at the bottom here that shows you the file as it's downloading. And it'll tell you when it's complete, and you can right-click on it and just execute it, or you can go close your web browser, go to your desktop and click on that little folder, and it'll install it. You downloaded it and you start to install. This is the first screen that comes up. It's kind of scary, isn't it? It says, do you want to run this file? Remember what I said before you download. Have a restore point. Set up a restore point. So if something changes that you don't like, you can always go back. Okay? So you would pick run, and then the program will begin to install. One of the programs that I use is Foxit Reader. Now, when you get your new computer, you're going to have to have Adobe Reader installed on your computer. A lot of times you get documents in your email or whatever, and they're a PDF file. Well, you need a PDF reader to open that file and to view it. So Adobe has an agreement with Microsoft that they put it on the Windows 7 or 8 operating system, a reader, which just allows you to open up a PDF file and read it. Have Adobe Reader installed on your computer. It takes 260 megabytes of space on your hard drive. Foxit Reader only uses 92 megabytes. So what I do, I take Adobe off, I completely uninstall all of it, and I download Foxit Reader. Foxit is made by the same company that produces Firefox. You can do more with Foxit Reader than you can with Adobe. You can actually use it to fill in some blanks on your PDF file with Foxit. It's a lot more useful than Adobe using. Now, I'm going to Google now, and I'm going to show you Foxit Reader. Immediately, you see how many different choices I have here to download it. Always pay attention to the green line. This one shows you going right to the Foxit website. This one is the Foxit website. There will be always look at this little, it'll show up green. That's the URL link where you will be going to. And make sure that it looks legitimate, that that's where you want to go. Now, where do we go to download? There's lots of good sites that offer software. Last year's CNET was the top downloading place in 2013. That was rated at the top. I'm going to go to CNET a minute and just show you what their webpage looks like. See what they offer you: Avast, AVG, Advanced System Care. So lots of choices there. That's a good website. Now, I'm not saying that you won't get some of these offers for free toolbars and search engines and all that. You will. You will have that with almost every program that you try to download. So you just have to watch and beware of what you're doing. Brothersoft is another, that was rated second. Two Cows is another, was rated third. Softpedia. Now remember that first page I showed you where to download this one program, they have that little flashing fix it now. Well, that was on their website. So you have to watch and be aware of where you're going. Softonic is another one. And one of my favorite places is Kim Komando. She has a website. She has a radio show, a call-in radio show on weekends. Every Saturday morning, it's here on this radio station. You can also sign up for her newsletters, and she will recommend lots of stuff. She'll talk about viruses out there that we need to be careful of and all that kind of stuff. So you could go to her website, just go kimkomando.com, and you have all the download categories. You see what she all has here? Tons of stuff. Office and school, for your mobile apps, everything you can get from her website. And she has researched those programs, so they're good. And a lot of times they will direct you to another website to download them. But just beware, you can get into trouble with good stuff as well as, maybe not so good. TechVets is another place. This is where Carrie Holtzman has some products. Somebody talked about malware. This is a program that you should have. Malwarebytes is one. Malwarebytes, I should say. That's one. It's a free one. You can buy it or you can do it free. The free one does not watch your computer all the time like the purchased one does. You have to just run it. Super Anti-Spyware is another good one. You can get the paid version or the free version. Again, the difference is the paid version runs in the background. The free one, you just use it to scan your computer. The CCleaner or Crack Cleaner is one. Now, this is a good one to use if you've installed some things on your computer and you think, I don't want that stuff, so you uninstall it. Well, whenever you uninstall something, there are certain files that stay in your registry or other places on your computer that are going to stay there. It doesn't clean it out completely. A CCleaner will get rid of a lot of that stuff if you run it after you've used your computer for a while. And you can clean out your registry and whatever, and it's a safe program. Now, this is another program that I ran across last fall. Somebody brought me their computer and they couldn't do anything with it. They couldn't get on the internet with it because it said your IP address has been changed or whatever. It's no longer valid. And she kept getting all these flashing things on her screen and error messages. So I went on my computer and typed in the error message in Google, and I got to a form that talked about what to do when you have this problem. And the very first little program that was recommended was ADW Cleaner. So I downloaded it to my computer on my flash drive, installed it on her computer, ran it, and you couldn't believe, I knew what the problem was on her computer. She had downloaded some stuff and she'd gotten an extra toolbar and they changed her search engine. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Conduit. It messes up your computer. So I ran this program and I clicked to scan her computer. And the list of stuff in it, a lot of them were Conduit this, Conduit that, stuff that I couldn't find. Removed all of that stuff, fixed it, and her computer was fine. We tried to go back to her restore point, but whatever she had destroyed her restore points. They were all gone, which can happen if you get something nasty. It can delete all your restore points, so you can't go back. All right, Web of Trust. Remember Carrie Holtzman talked about that. Have that installed. It will show with a little green circle by approved websites. If they're red, don't go there. If they're yellow, I wouldn't go there exactly either, but that's a good little program. He demonstrated that when he was here. You just bought a new Windows 8 computer, and you notice you have Microsoft Office on there. Well, it's good for 30 days. And then after that, you need to buy it and pay $9.99 a month because it's the new 2013 version of Office. And everything is stored up in the cloud or whatever. It's not on, you access the program from the cloud. It's designed to do that. And you just pay for using it when you need it. One of the choices for an Office suite is LibreOffice, a good one. If you have that on your computer, this is when you open the screen, you can do a text document, spreadsheet, presentation, which is your PowerPoint, drawing, database, everything you need for that Office includes. And this program will read all your Word files. If you have somebody that sends you a Word document, you can read it and edit it on LibreOffice. Another good one is OpenOffice. I don't know if one is better than the other, I really don't know, because they just have all come out with new versions in the last 2 months. And they're good. The toolbars and everything look almost similar to Office. So I would say that's your answer. If you don't want to purchase Office, or if you got a new computer and you don't have the old version or the 2010 or 7 or something to put on it, get one of these. Office used to have included Outlook, which many people were hooked on to do their email. It's a good program. It keeps track of your calendar and all that. All right, you don't get that anymore. When you buy Office, you have to pay extra for Outlook, and it's expensive. An alternative to that is Thunderbird, which is another product by Mozilla. It's a free download, and it looks very much like your Outlook email program or Outlook Express, which we were all used to many years ago when it came free. The only thing it doesn't have is a calendar, but it's a good one. It's a very good one. This is a program that stores your email on your computer like Outlook does. Your files are there. If you use Gmail, none of your stuff is stored on the computer. It's all out there on the website. Another one is Incredimail. I haven't used this one, but it looks fascinating to me, and that's a free download. If you remember the old Outlook Express that we had years ago, you could add stationery to your letters or your email. You could add music to it and all that. Well, you can do that with Incredimail. You can have share photos, decorate messages with backgrounds, share funny icons and emotions, and send fantastic animated e-cards and so forth with this one. I'm going to show you some of the programs that I use, which are free. LastPass is a free, or you can get the paid version of your password manager. I use LastPass to remember my passwords. They're stored, they're encrypted and you have to access it with a password, but it's stored out there somewhere in the cloud. It's not, they're not, so if I'm on another computer or my computer goes down and I get a new one, I can always access my account where my passwords are all stored. These are last year's 25 worst passwords. I don't know if you see any of yours on there. If it's on there, I'd advise you to change it. There's this little program that I can go onto YouTube and I will search for a particular song. I can download them. Well, when you download them, it's a video file, so you can also use this program, if you use the free one, to convert it just to an MP3 file and get rid of the video of it and then store it in your music folder wherever you are and use it to add to your videos or wherever you want to add to it. I use Skype, and I'm sure many of you use Skype. That's a free download. Now, I also use Skype to make calls from my computer to somebody else's landline. One of the programs that Carrie Holtzman recommended a couple years ago was Pure Raw, which cleans out gunk out of your computer. It's just a little program, and it will find different files similar to, I think, CCleaner, and it will free up a lot of space. Another one I use is Audacity. This one I want to record something, I use Audacity, and then I can edit it. I can cut out parts of it that I don't want, or background noise. I can change the key of a song or whatever. I use that program quite a bit. Another one that I use is Fences, and there's a free edition. And this is what my desktop computer looks like at home. It's got all these little boxes. Here are programs. Here are some YouTube videos that I wanted to save of my grandkids and so forth. Some shortcuts to some of my accounts. This is my answer to a Windows desktop. You know, I can just click on there. I can't shove them around like you can do on Windows 8, but I got everything there and they're categorized too. This is a program I just ran across. You can convert any Word document to an audio document. Say you have a book that's a Word document. You can put it on your MP3 player and listen to it. Now, this is a program I talked about earlier. If you have a new computer and you want to get rid of some of that gunk, this is a good program, PC Decrapifier. It'll find all the junk that came pre-installed on your computer, and it will ask you if you want to get rid of it. And the last one that I think everybody who uses the Wi-Fi here in the park should have this little program. I use this little program to disconnect from the internet. When you install it, there's a little ball here, it looks like a world. You click on that and you can turn off the internet. This screen will just turn off the internet. Then when you're ready to come back, you click on that little round ball again, back on the internet. You don't have to turn your computer off or anything like that. I think if you're on the Wi-Fi here, if everybody does that, we'd have better Wi-Fi, because we got too many computers that are on the Wi-Fi all day long, and it bogs it down. That's the end of my presentation.